So without further ado, spawning down here in the bottom position, he may be teamless, but he's also fearless. He is BYUN. And his opponent up here in the top for Raise Your Edge Gaming, he is ZEST. So I think the first big question here is the first kind of big move that he's been doing recently is this very aggressive Hellion timing. Basically, what he'll do is he'll get those 4 Hellions up, and with those 4 Hellions, he just kind of dives in. He also has a medevac in the back with those Widow Mines. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch that really catches the Protoss player off guard, and that's a really, it doesn't really delay you at all things considered, just because you are putting the aggression on, you're forcing your opponent to make a little bit more of a, you kind of force the Moxie on them. Need BYUN to win 3-0 or 3-1? Well, I hope your bet comes through. Here we go, ZEST gonna get that Stargate play up and running. A very aggressive proxy location right now. Now, BYUN has skipped the Reaper, so he hasn't really gotten any scouting information on the other side of the map. And so this is going to be pretty blindsiding to him. I don't think ZEST is going to be going for Void Rays here. There is a small potential for it, but I do think that you would be a little bit more aggressive with your positioning if that was indeed what you were going for. But yeah, like I was kind of saying, we've got the Hellions on the way. It's going to deflect the first first Stalker here, but unfortunately, there's a little bit of a blind counter to this, and that is that first Oracle has almost nothing, especially since BYUN is going to be sending these 4 Marines across the map and actually going to be coupling them with the Hellions as well, so BYUN going to be very aggressive. Now, we got that Viking on the way, and that's going to be pretty much his only defense for the time being. I'm actually interested to see how much damage he can get done here. It looks like the Stalkers are in position. But the Viking is not done yet, so he's going to kind of just run these SCVs away for the time being, as the Marine's going to be coming in. Yeah, that's just going to be pushed away here as 4 workers are killed before that Oracle runs out of energy and does have to retreat. Now, you could theoretically dive in there as BYUN. There's not really too much stopping you, and that's actually what he's going to do. Keep in mind, you do need 3 Hellions to one-shot that probe line, already getting 1 really nice connection off. Just going to keep it going. A couple more shots and 11 workers going down. So already, BYUN getting massive amounts of damage to start things off. Looks like ZEST is going to double down on this proxy location while going up to his 3rd base. But I don't think BYUN's really going to give him the time of day with that one, as we have the additional... we got those additional tanks coming down. He's got the Banshees kind of to push things back. And yeah, this is kind of the first time that ZEST is seeing this. So he wants to throw down a couple of shield batteries just to keep himself a little bit safer. now, unfortunately, you're not going to get too much done with this. As here we go, the Stalker's going to go for a very aggressive move, and I think that was a huge mistake as he loses quite a few of them. Now, the Banshee in the back will get picked off by the Phoenix, but ZEST. I'm sorry, buddy, but Blink can be good. It can be. Not when you blink on top of the siege tank line like that. Marines in the front. There's enough siege tank fire for days here, and off the back of this, BYUN does have the potential for a very scary push, as we just now see charge starting up. The additional gateways only just now coming in as well, and yeah, I mean ZEST is content to kind of do this soft contain kind of strategy, but here we go. BYUN's going to be moving out Stim about halfway done, so we are going to see some decent pickoffs here from these Stalkers. They will be able to just kind of blink away. That was incredible. I feel like we see two sides to ZEST when he plays versus Terran players. He's either got that like solid build order that you just really, that he's really just able to break you down and crush you. But on other times, he just looks kind of inept, where he doesn't really get that early game damage done. He invests a lot into it, and then just kind of dies this slow death. Versus someone like BYUN, like you really can't afford to fall behind, because you'll never get that lead back, especially when you're down this much supply. All right, here we go. Another big play. Remember, there's not that much back at home, honestly. Storm only about halfway complete. Actually, how much does he actually have at home? He's got like 5 High Templars, a couple of Stalkers. That's it. He's only got 33 army supply. What the heck, man? Oh my goodness, ZEST, I love you. You're an amazing player, but you're in a lot of trouble here, man. Okay, luckily he does save a majority of those units, and he will be able to get the 4th base. Yeah, there's a good possibility that it would use these for GSL, just because it's a bit of a smaller tournament. You do see a lot of these players kind of played a bit more standard. They don't really go for the crazy builds that you'll see in their GSL games. But yeah, this is a good kind of practice tournament. It's also good since they'll get like $300 if they win, so it's not super small. But yeah, it's still small enough that they're practicing their builds quite heavily. Okay, now ZEST is looking a bit better here. He's got He's got those High Templar up on their energy with Storm. We don't see the stasis we don't see the stasis up just yet. But the EMP is going to be the important thing here, as if you get a couple of nice connections on those, then you're going to be in a good position here. The fourth base a little bit under fire, but that planetary fortress should finish up. And just going to force a recall there. That big engagement, the first couple of EMPs, he's trying to keep those High Templar back so that they don't fall to the EMPs. But one of the problems here is BYUN is just really giving ZEST a lot of room to breathe. He was allowed to get up all this tech without taking too much damage. He was allowed to kind of fight this hard. I'm actually really surprised these guys aren't going to be as aggressive as they should be. Not really too much else to say about this game other than it's really slowed down quite a bit. Gets a good snipe on those. Looks like a huge disruptor shot actually going off on this side. Taking down a lot of BYUN's army now. Uh-oh. Who is it?
Game paused. Game resumed.
Alright, so now BYUN, he's trying to get some damage on here. The blink not off cooldown, so he will be able to get a couple of these pros before getting out of there. Ship better going to save a few of them. But yeah, those disruptor hits are just massive right now. And I mean, I don't see how BYUN really breaks this efficiently. He really can't, as that's going to be going up to those additional Stargate. He should be getting those Tempests to start off. But there we go. That's a nice move. Getting that +3 attack, that's going to slow things down a little bit. Little bit of lag again. Who is lagging? Okay. Alright, so we're just going to find out what's going on there. I think it's ZEST who's let's hop right back into it there. Now this is the point where BYUN can't really rely too heavily on those double prong harassments, as there's more than enough to kind of push it off. Sorry, I don't actually speak Korean, so I can't translate that. A disruptive shot's gonna whiff here, but it's still really hard position to move forward from. He's got to get those siege tanks nice and taut. Couple of decent connections there off the back of this. It looks like this base may go down, but BYUN, you know, he's just got to get those good pre-fight splits, but he's just taking way too much damage. On the other side of things, we do see a small run by of Stalkers and Zealots. Whipping those shots, actually, he wasn't really paying attention to where the army was. I feel actually BYUN is going to be able to take this engagement quite handedly. We do have these guys down here just hanging out. Great storm, though. That's going to really put a damper on this. There's not that much healing energy left, as we only have those 3 medevacs. I don't know where the third one is even. But if ZEST can hold on here, he is down quite a bit of supply. But again, he's going to be able to clean this army up very efficiently, I feel. Just from the fact that there's not a lot of healing with it. BYUN trying to go for his parade push style. He's got a small swell of red coming across the map, but now he's going to have to retreat with these units, regroup and re-strategize here. Oh man, we've got carriers on the way. Okay, so the thing with carriers is you really do need to hit before they get into high enough numbers. A lot of Marines is good, but unfortunately they just get overwhelmed very quickly. Okay, only 3 so far. Now the important thing is that BYUN has seen it. He's maxed out, so he really does want to kind of get a pick off, hopefully on that fleet beacon if he can. Right now the interceptor count is way too low, as we see another big engagement coming down here. The Widowmines doing what they can. Storms as well going to be blanketing this army, but the Zealots on the chase. BYUN has pretty much full reign right now as the worker count just starts to decimate it here, and BYUN is going to take game number 1. So an exciting first game to start things off, and I mean that was, wow, that was action-packed. It looked a little bit dicey there. I really do think BYUN gave way too much space. He's definitely could have won that game a little bit more. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully the lag doesn't come back to bite it. I think that's on ZEST's end. I don't think it's me. I'm not indicating any drop frames. Hashtag fiber. But yeah, 3 carriers can engage 10 Marines, because they didn't even have an interceptor count. Like, I think that was the thing. They got a lot of their interceptors taken down way too early on, And without further ado, let's introduce the players. Spawning up here for no team whatsoever, he is BYUN. And spawning down here for Raise Your Edge Gaming, he is ZEST. Okay, so BYUN going to be going for the CC first. Now, this is kind of it can be either the worst thing you ever do or the best, kind of depending on if it's scouted. And ZEST is actually going to get a really good scout off of this. Sees that it is going down, and there's no Marines. There's no Reaper. There is nothing to kind of stop this probe for the time being. Oh, man, BYUN. What is this build, my man? So he's going to be adding on that the additional 3 racks behind this, and really this can be pretty powerful sometimes. And the reason I say sometimes is because a lot of the time it really just falls flat on the face, because it kind of prompts ZEST to go for a much more aggressive style. You know, we already see that Zealot becoming across the map. And, I mean, there's not going to be stim for a bit. You're going to be stuck on pure Marine. No factory, no siege tanks for the defense. It really is just going to be a difficult position for a little bit for our red Terran player. Excited to see if he can pull it off, though. However, if anybody can pull it off, it is him. Yeah, the Adept's going to be a bit annoying as well. Pretty much just comes down to a small micro battle here. As the Adept going to be kind of shading around. Not going to let that finish. So BYUN will hold on for right now, but again, look at this. We've got that Robo facility coming in. We should be seeing a fast Colossus transition, because he knows that there's not really going to be too much here for BYUN. Like, he knows no healing, so he's going to expect that there's not going to be that much pushing coming on. All right. So nothing really much to say about it right now. You know, I do kind of like this move out here. He's going to move in with Stim. The Colossus will be out, and it actually looks like he's going to be going for a bit of a Colossus drop kind of style with that War Prism speed. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how BYUN kind of reacts to that. But you know, not too much early game damage going on. I do think kind of the Opus is on the Terran player to kind of get that damage done early, just to kind of keep ZEST back, to kind of reset things a little bit, just because we do see the worker count starting to go into ZEST's favor. But you know, all things considered, this is pretty interesting. That War Prism does have speed, but there is Stim out. So will he be able to dive on top of that? One big Stim goes down. Now, there's no medevac, so every time you Stim these units, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble, as there's not going to be any healing for these units. And he might actually just force out a Viking to start things off. I do think he wants to kind of clean up that medevac, or War Prism rather. And yeah, there you go. He is going to go straight into Viking tech, but just a little bit supply block. BYUN still only on 2 bases and 3 racks here. Not going to be adding on any additional production for the time being. Look at that, he's on the hunt for that War Prism. He wants to find it and he wants to kind of clean that up. War Prism, however, in a little bit of a dangerous position here. Tricky, as the Vikings going to be able to get on top of that. The Observer is going to get sniped as well. Now, this is a pretty scary army, but it is primarily Marines, and there are enough forces here to kind of force it back. Not enough medevacs either to deal with this. So he's going to back off here. But once again, you know, I feel like ZEST is in a really good position. He hasn't taken any damage whatsoever. And although BYUN is up in upgrades and has some pretty nice production, he's still a little bit further behind on his 3rd CC. And I mean, he's nowhere near ready for another big push. Yeah, even going to go for a little bit of a drop, but I just don't really see this working out for him. Oh, they're playing, Sarah and BYUN playing later on? Oh, nice. That's right, it is last day for Republic of Gamer. One thing I love about BYUN is that he just is able to really abuse these positions here and get that damage that you really wouldn't expect most Terran players to be able to find, even if it is just a pylon here, a pylon there. That's what it stands for. Yep, ROG stands for Republic of Gamer. Republic of Gamer is the ASUS's brand of monitors and other equipment. And I'm going to be excited to see those. I remember Showtime taking out Cyril with that 3-0 was so amazing to watch. But, you know, ZEST a little bit out of position here as he's going to get his Robo facility sniped, and BYUN actually going to be able to get out of there with a majority of his units. And now we see this kind of 1-2 push approach here, as BYUN going to be attacking on one side and then hitting on the other. Big storm's going to go down over a lot of this bio, and that will have to retreat. Alright, so gonna stabilize on those 3 bases. He's playing it safe. He's got those missile turrets just in case some cheeky DTs decide to jump in and ruin his day. So ZEST A lot of his army actually isn't together right now. But those storms, there's so many choke points that BYUN kind of has to force his way into. And uh, it's just really hard to see how he's going to be able to break through any of these positions, especially once those disruptors come out. ZEST really has all the tools that he needs for a very solid defense. Couple of good storms to start things off. He's gonna force that siege up as well, and essentially every single time he has to siege up, that's gonna slow down his push quite immensely, and yeah, just buys us so much time to get those disruptors out, to get the additional warp in of those zealots. And, you know, I gotta say, ZEST hasn't really gone for as many zealot run-bys as I thought he might. But here we go, first disruptor shot gonna get right on top of the siege tanks. The High Templar not able to get far enough forward with those drops there. Another small zealot run by gonna be coming in. But that will be cleaned up by the reinforcements. BYUN just kind of trying to bait out a couple of those storms so that he can move in. It's not really working for him though. We do see a big flank gunner coming in. Oh, the disruptors and a couple of High Templar with some very high energy are going to go down. One good disruptor hit is going to be enough to help push this back, but there's just not enough zealots in the front. Oh my goodness, those. If ZEST wins this, it's going to be off the back of disruptor shots like that, as he's going to be able to clean this up. Reinforcements from the back going to help as the siege tanks do falter, and it is ZEST's supply lead once again. Oh man, a action-packed couple of minutes right there. I feel like once again, just BYUN gave way too much time for ZEST to prepare. And now look at this. We've got 3 Colossus in production, plus three attack. While BYUN's only on 1-1. Oh my god, he's dead. Like, there's just no other way to put it. He's going up versus a +3 attack, +2 armor, Protoss army with +1 units. No Vikings, very few ghosts. Oh man, he's only just now really getting that 4th base up and mining efficiently. Again, going to be coming down, trying to find out where everything is coming from. But from this point, I think ZEST can really just kind of poke and prod his way around. He didn't have an armory. That's why he can't go for those upgrades. It's because he didn't have the armory in production. And now he's going to lose this base. A lot of mining time on it. Liberator going to help out, but you can just kind of rotate around to stop this. We do see a big chunk of BYUN's forces as well going to be going for a counterattack, but they are nowhere in position to deal with this. Fighting into a bit of a choke point is ZEST, so that's going to give a little credence to BYUN's position. But again, this 3rd base is going to go down. I mean, 12 zealots being warped in to help with this attack. It's going to be difficult for BYUN to hold on. Can't even honestly call this a base rate. There's just not really a lot here for the Terran. But you know, I may have thought that he was dead before, but he's starting to clean up a bit of this army. There you go. Look at that. 12 High Templar warped in. He's not even going to turn him into Archons just yet. He knows that he's won this game. He just has to kind of close it out. BYUN gonna make a fight out of it. He's not gonna tap. He's not gonna tap out just yet. But I mean, there's no real way for him to kind of come back into it. All his production is gone. We should just be seeing a recall here soon, I'd imagine. That's really the only thing that he can do here. That was nasty. There's not really any healing with this either, as the medevacs have run dry, so all these storms just really going to clean it up. I'm kind of just waiting for the tap out here for BYUN, as sad as it is to say. Fantasy GG timing there, but there you have it. GG is called, and yeah, we'll be moving in to game number 3 with a tie score. And you know, that was kind of the exact problem that I mentioned. BYUN, fantastic in the early and mid game. He can go into the late game very strong, very effectively, but he sacrificed his late game to get that mid game damage and just wasn't able to get anything done. Like, at all. So ZEST just, I don't even think he touched ZEST economy that entire time. I'll have to take a look at the replay to check. But, oh, that one made my head hurt a little bit. I still favor him slightly in this matchup, though, you know. There's just a lot I want to say about it, but you know what? These players do a pretty darn good job of speaking for themselves. So let's introduce them once again. Spawning down here in the bottom position of Pillars of Gold, he is BYUN. And his opponent up here in the top, he is, for Razor Edge Gaming, ZEST. Looks like BYUN's going to be going for a very similar strategy here. I think ZEST just really does get a good read off of it, though, with his first probe. If you're like, it's not even really something that you can hide going for this 3 racks behind it either, just because once you see the CC in any capacity, you know that it's way too early. So you kind of just get free reign of the map, and we should be seeing a Zealot be dropped just to yeah, we should be seeing the Zealot dropped and just sent across the map. Actually, he's going to send an additional probe, so it looks like we're going to be seeing a proxy. And I like that decision. You know, he could proxy an Oracle, or he can just go for some sort of big gateway push, which is going to be difficult for BYUN to deal with. And yeah, there you go. Stargate play. It's going to keep BYUN back in his base. He's going to have to use all of his racks on full cylinder to defend against the Oracle. Actually, never mind. It's going to be Void Rays. And yeah, this is the perfect move. Because you're going to have a couple of adepts at the front, so the Marine's not going to really be able to move forward. You're going to have the shield batteries to kind of heal up, as there's no Cyclones, there's no Vikings, really nothing to help defend this, so ZEST's going to be making the perfect move. Yeah, just going to add on those additional gateways as well. He can really push this position. I think right now, BYUN has to get up there, and he has to cancel this immediately. Just really can't. Yeah, every time he stims, like every time he, oh my god, he still hasn't seen it either. His heart has to be sinking right now as he recognizes what is coming his way. He's got to defend stim. That's going to be his one saving grace, is having that stim. Look at that. He's not even going to be able to save it too efficiently here. Let's get a repair. Not going to get it. This is just getting a little bit too dicey for him here. I think ZEST has kind of broken him. It's going to be a bit slower on the break, but yeah. I think you put it the best. He likes BYUN so much that he just wants to be his neighbor. So he's going full Mr. Rogers on his butt right now. And a little bit of Bob Ross, too. You know, he's painting a pretty picture. I'm trying to get that consolation prize, but this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't really go for 3 racks versus Protoss. It's just not really effective, and it gives your opponent so much room to kind of play around in. Just barely not losing that Void Ray as well. That would have been nasty. But here we go. The Void Rays right on top of the bunker. They are going to help out. The Zealots in front. Going to soak up a lot of this Marine fire. The Vikings are going to be able to do some work, but 15 workers going down. That's just way too much. So unfortunately for the guy in the chat who had a bet on 3-0 or 3-1, as ZEST will be going up to match point. Gotta say, I'm not disappointed. I'm just kind of sad that's how it went, you know? Just was so one-sided that I can't really even say that BYUN was ready for anything. Now, we are going up to a bigger map. Jagannatha. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I think BYUN is hiding a lot of his power right now, just because he wants to prepare for the bigger tournament going on today, the Republic of Gamers. He has a lot more to earn there, but let's introduce these players spawning in the bottom position, or in the top position of Jagannatha, and with an SCV out on the map, he is BYUN. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is ZEST. Okay, so this isn't going to be a huge committal strategy here. He's just going to get that Reaper up and running. Kind of scare ZEST a little bit more because he won't see the CC. And the thing about BYUN is when he does have that proxy, he's just very powerful with it. One thing I'd like to see him do is just drop down those 3 Raxes and go straight back to 2016 with his 3 Rax Reaper build. Even adding on Medevac so that he can lift them up and get him straight into the back of the opponent's base. Yeah, it looks like ZEST is just going to kind of take it in stride right now, keep that guy in. He does see the double refinery, so what that tells him is that we are going to be seeing that faster factory coming on up. Before the second CC, he's going to trap the probe. I don't think he's just messing around with this one, but this is typical BYUN shenaniganry. Nope, this one is live. Like, these players are actually sitting in a party in this game with all of the lovely casters. By the way, if you did want to hear the cast in your language, we do have a Spanish stream taken care of by Inky, and Into the New is doing it in Korean. So if you speak those 2 languages and feel a little bit more comfortable with them, that is how you can get your StarCraft 2 foreign language fix. Yeah, I mean, behind this, BYUN is playing it a lot more standard. He has seen quite a bit here with this first Reaper. Yeah, he's going to go into Widowmine, drop behind it. Armory. Very nice. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow those Widowmines to stay burrowed for longer and kind of force either the Revelation or the Robo facility very quickly here. Plus, it's going to make ZEST have to think on his toes. We'll have to see how heavily he does commit to the Widow Mines here. Because we're going to see Banshees behind this. Just not completely in position, but he does catch wind of everything. He sees the Phoenix as well. Just barely doesn't get a laughed on that last one. Now the medevac might be hunted down, but you know, 2 workers, and he's going to be able to keep those Widow Mines alive for quite a bit of time until that observer is out. The question is, which comes first? Because ZEST is wasting a lot of mining time right now. Okay. So yeah, that did take a lot out of ZEST's economy for quite a bit of time. We only just now see him go up to that 3rd base, and we should be seeing BYUN either throw his down or throwing down a couple of additional racks to kind of match that. But I do like BYUN's position a little bit more. Once again, and I kind of say that not because, not really because I like BYUN, just because he does have a lot of the tools that he needs. He's got that additional armory. He's getting the +1 a lot quicker. Excuse me. And he could go for a very big push here off the back of his stim finishing up. No, I love BYUN. Catharsis in the chat. I do love him. Who can't love him? And, like, he's a really fun guy to watch. He's very masterful in his craft. And yeah, here we go. We do see a couple of nice pickoffs there. The first Phoenix is going to fall. What it does allow him to do is it allows him to get a very good wind of this, so he's going to add in a couple of sentries, but 5 workers going down, so those Phoenix doing the work that they can to kind of slow down BYUN's economy. Not much at home to defend, only that 1 Colossus. Plus losing the Phoenix as well. This is not going well for ZEST at all. A couple of those shield batteries going to help out quite a bit. But now we see that kind of double pronging that BYUN is known for. We've got a big drop in the main base, and actually I'm wondering why he went so far back. But he does get a good snipe on that Robo facility, so it will only be 1 Colossus and no disruptors. Here we go. He's going to dive run on top of this. Shutdown on the Colossus has happened, and there's just an overwhelming amount of bio here. BYUN takes it back. And we are going to game number 5. BYUN versus Cyril. Who do you think will win? I think... that's a hard one, but I'm going to have to give it to Cyril 3-2. Yeah, I think Cyril is just a bit more aggressive than BYUN is able to deal with, but I do think he's going to be... I do think he is going to be doing fantastic, getting that early damage done and just making a really good series out of it. 55-45. Yeah, that's about right. That's about the odds that I would put on it as well, if I could bet, but I can't. Hashtag, hashtag sad no bet. Spawning in the bottom position of Lightshade to close things out. He is teamless BYUN. And his opponent up here in the top, he is Raise Your Edge, ZEST. Still talking about a Seraph versus BYUN game coming up later. And, you know, it is true that BYUN beat Raynor, and Raynor is kind of the kid who always defeats Seraph. I think he's like 5-1 last year versus him. But I really hate to kind of use that as the way to go versus it, because they are two different players. And it's a really different matchup, all things considered. Oh, you're talking about Raynor's ZVT, which is pretty good, really decent. But yeah, it's gonna be a really fun one to watch as again, BYUN is kind of the Terran Zerg player. Like, he will absolutely, once he gets a little foothold, he will Zerg rush you non-stop. He loves that parade push kind of style. And I mean, here he's going for one of his classic cheesy aggressive builds. He's gonna get that. He's gonna get a couple of Marauders with the concussive shells, and maybe a Marine behind it as well. And he's just gonna push in here, and get quite a bit of Stalker damage done. As that's going to just see that factory. He sees everything that's going on this side of the map. And unfortunately, there's not a lot you can actually do with this. The shield battery helps out a bit, but not really as much as you would like. As if those monitors do massive amounts of damage versus the Stalker. So he's just going to wait for that third Marauder before lifting up and getting on out of there. Behind this, we might be... it's either Cyclone or very fast siege tanks off the back of this. A little good focus fire here. We'll be able to take down at least some of those Stalkers, but BYUN just going to play it very, very safe and just head straight home. Okay, so things have standardized out a bit from there. Neither side can really push into each other anymore, as you know, as it would just kind of be sudden death. We do see that fast Robo Bay going down for Colossus, so we might be seeing those Colossus drops once again. just because he's kind of expecting BYUN to be a little bit slower to rebuild his economy after such an aggressive play like that. I think the Cyclone actually a really good deal too, because it kind of keeps you safe from the starport builds. But here we go. ZEST is going to do what he can, just try and close this game out quickly with a, not a big push, but a committed one. As that's a lot of firepower with that Immortal in the back. Yeah, actually just going to be pretty content with that damage, killing off the Widow Mine and hopping on up. Okay. From here, we have stabilized pretty effectively as we got ZEST going up to that third base. I would like to see when BYUN throws down his own third. One thing you can see is as soon as you start to see that number kind of go up above 200, that's when you can really expect that CC to go down, because he's really good at spending his money. He really should be in a Mr. Beast video, because he's so good at the spending the money, just like the going on a shopping spree. He'd probably bankrupt Mr. Beast, as hard as it is to believe with how good he is. All right, here we go. He does have one shutdown. He does not want to fight with the anywhere where he can get force fielded out, so he is going to back up into a relatively defensive siege up position. But we do see that little parade that I keep talking about of red coming across, just reinforcing this push. Question is, what angle is he actually going to be able to get in from? You do see he's rotating around, and ZEST, you know, ZEST does have enough for the defense here. I'm not saying that he's dead for this, but here we go. Scan going to be going down, revealing the entire army. Force fields, not enough to really push anything away. But the siege checks just make it very difficult to kind of engage in here. We do have roughly 2 shutdowns here for those Colossus. Got the Liberator. Gonna try and get in here, not really getting anything done. From this point on, I think ZEST just taking a really heavy worker supply lead. If we kind of take a look at that income tab, it's only even because of the mules, but you can kind of see when those get dropped. It comes down to that worker supply and that income. I suppose the third base only just now being done. But here we go. ZEST a little bit out of position, so this is going to give a wonderful position for BYUN to actually siege up on. Going to go for the Dorito cannon, making it so that you can't really engage anymore. Another big warp in. He does have charge, so he's going to have to go for a surround if he wants to break this army. Now, I love this move here. He's just going to try and kill off the reinforcements of BYUN, which is really what you're supposed to do, because you need to kind of whittle this down slowly and effectively rather than kind of go gung-ho. The Zealot Rabbi did get taken down. They're coming in from the back. Now the C-Tech's a little bit exposed, but they do get some nice connections off before going down. Still quite a bit of bio left with this, but they do have to retreat. They don't really have enough to deal with this. Although they will turn around and fight, get a couple of good connections on those Stalkers, but again, he's just got to retreat for right now. No Storm, by the way. He does have the Templar Archives, as we've seen with the Archons. But really, once he starts getting that Storm up, he starts kind of transitioning into Disruptors. That's when this army becomes even more scary. You know, he hasn't really lost any of those Colossus either, so I'm kind of interested to see where BYUN goes from here. Not even a lot of healing with this either, so that's pretty devastating for him. You can kind of see he's conserving the scans for right now, just because he knows that every single scan is going to make the fight that much harder. Ghostomatic actually going to get canceled. Just going to take good advantage of this location, but BYUN actually going to say, you know what? I'm going to go for an attack. Your army is over on my side of the map, so that means you're out of position. And, I mean, he ain't wrong. Gets a couple more Stalker pickoffs there. And now going to go for a big Doom drop while ZEST is completely out of position. Oh, man, this is going to be devastating, actually. Hasn't remade the Ghost Academy, though. That's one thing to say. As denying ground level armor 2, forcing the recall, and he is going to just back out. Already a massive amounts of damage. He just needs to get out of there with those medevacs. Now here we go. The main effort going to be moving across the map as well. So ZEST's going to have to rotate around to defend this new threat. But he leaves his third base once again just completely wide open. So those C-Tanks going to get into a nice aggressive position on the top of that ramp. Disruptor going to try and get some good connections, and it will fizzle out. The Zealots not really able to get too much surface area done, but they do get the full surround, and BYUN actually going to be cleaned up here. He's going to have to go on the retreat. Oh, BYUN just gave ZEST way too much time. And, you know, he never rebuilt that Ghost Academy. He never went up the upgrades again, so he sacrificed the late game to try and get the damage done, not getting any of it. BYUN. Now there's just a little bit too much Protoss here. As he's down over 50 supply, SCV is going to have to be pulled, and I think ZEST is just barely going to be able to break through here. He is going to take a little bit of damage on that fourth. That's really it. Another back and forth series between these two, though, I gotta say. It's always a pleasure to watch these two go up against each other. Looks like he's BYUN, you know, he's not gonna tap out just yet. He still has a bit of an army, but yeah, with an attack like that, he's just gonna get whittled down, and there you have it.